शारदा देवी ओम ओम नमो भगवती 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 शारदा देवी ओम नमो भगवते राम कृष्णाय 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 ओम नमो भगवती शारदा देवी 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 भगवती शारदा देविये ॐ नमो भगवती शारदा देविये ॐ नमो भगवती शारदा देविये ॐ नमो भगवते रामकृष्णाय ॐ नमो भगवती शारदा देविये ॐ श्रीराम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय नमः ॐ उलगलाम निरंग ज्योति यंग तुयर तीर्कवा देवी उलगलाम निरंग તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા હું તો જપતો તમારી મારા કરતો નિશ દિલ કાલા વાલા હું તો જપતો તમારી મારા કરતો નિશ દિલ કાલા વાલા વાલા વેગે આવો મારે મન રે ભાગો નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા હું તો વાતલરી તારી જોતો મારા તારે વિયોગે રોતો હું તો વાતલરી તારી જોતો મારા તારે વિયોગે રોતો આંખો ભીની ભીની રોય રોય થાય છે જીની નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા શ્યામ ભક્ત કહે પ્રભુ આવો આવી હાથ પકડજો મારો શ્યામ ભક્ત કહે પ્રભુ આવો આવી હાથ પકડજો મારો મુખે માંગુ એવું તારે ચરણે રહેવું નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા તમે મારા થયા હું તમારો થયો નંદલાલા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા આવો આવો કનૈયા તારા ઓમ શ્રી રામ કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન કી જય.
ॐ ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. Revered Pranajika Ishtaprana Mataji, respected elders and loving devotees, Om Namo Narayanaya. During this tough time of the pandemic, people are going through many difficult challenges. Prayer and reading holy books give us much strength and courage to cope. Our scriptures give us direction and we learn to be compassionate as God is in everyone. If I were to ask you, what were your special achievements in your life? What would you say? I passed matric, completed university, got a well-paying job, I bought a house and a car. We would probably also talk about the many sacrifices we made to achieve our successes in life. This is what Swami Shivanand said. The most striking incident of my life, which is most special, is my meeting with Sri Ramakrishna and the mercy he granted to me. I had no special virtue to merit his mercy, yet, through his own will, he has blessed me. This is the only incident worth mentioning in my life. Swami Shivanand was lovingly called Mahapurush Maharaj. He was a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna and later served as the second president of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission. Swami Shivanand's pre-monastic name was Tarak Nath Gosal. He was born on the 16th December 1854 in Barasat, east of Kolkata. His parents, Ramkane Gosal and Vamasundari Devi, were very charitable and at times provided free board and lodging to poor students. Ramkane used to visit Dakshineshwar, where he became acquainted with the master. Ramkane was also a very spiritual person. Thus, compassion for others and spirituality were strong qualities of Tarak. Tarak left school and worked to support his family financially. He worked for the railways in northern India and spent his spare time in spiritual practice. He spent long hours in meditation with the desire of attaining samadhi. In accordance with the custom of those days, he was married in his teens, but with the consent of his young wife, he lived an absolutely chaste life, as he was determined to lead a monastic life. Years later, when Swami Vivekananda came to know of this, he called him Mahapurush, which meant great soul. Thus, he came to be known as Mahapurush Maharaj. Because of his great devotion to Shiva, as well as his calm, dispassionate nature, Swamiji named him Shivanand. Tarak saw Sri Ramakrishna for the first time at the house of Ramachandra Datta in May 1880. The room was filled with devotees, and Sri Ramakrishna was speaking on the very subject that had become the passion of Tarak's life, samadhi. He seated himself nearby and listened spellbound. During his second visit to the master, Tarak felt as if he had known the master a long time. As soon as he bowed before Sri Ramakrishna, he felt as if he had once more got his own mother back. He placed his head on Sri Ramakrishna's lap, and Sri Ramakrishna caressed him like a child. He surrendered himself to the master with the confidence, faith, and certitude of a child. This incident is very significant in the life of Tarak because he lost his mother at a very young age. Once, in an ecstatic mood, the master touched Tarak, who lost outer consciousness and was in a deep meditative state. He then realized that the master was the Atman, eternal and free. He knew that the master was the Lord, born as man for the good of humanity. Later, Sri Ramakrishna initiated Tarak by writing a mantra on his tongue. The master taught his disciples to dance while singing God's name. Master would say, "Why should you feel shy? You should dance in the name of Hari. Nothing can be achieved unless one gets rid of shame, hatred, and fear." Master explained, as long as the child is busy with his toys, he forgets his mother who attends to her duties. But as soon as the child throws the toys away and begins to cry for the mother, she drops everything, runs to the child, and takes him in her arms. As long as we are attached to the toys of this world, we cannot see God. These beautiful incidents increase our faith in God and give us devotion to Him. After the Mahasamadhi of Sri Ramakrishna in 1886, the small group of direct disciples embraced monastic life. They lived in a dilapidated house in the Baranagar, the first monastery of the Ramakrishna Mutt. Swami Shivanand's life was one of great austerity, simplicity, and joy. Like some of his brother monks, he went on pilgrimage, living as a wandering sadhu, engaged in spiritual practices. Swami Vivekananda returned to India in 1897 after becoming world famous at the World's Parliament of Religions. He requested Swami Shivanand to go to Sri Lanka to spread Vedanta. Mahapurushji lived in Sri Lanka for a year and held classes on Raja Yoga and the Gita. In 1902, after Swami Vivekananda's visit to Varanasi, he requested that Swami Shivanand go to Varanasi to begin work there. Swami Shivanand left for Varanasi in June 1902, a few days before the passing away of Swamiji. Swamiji's early departure from the world left a tremendous void in the heart of Swami Shivanand and increased the responsibility to continue with the Master's work. Despite his grief, Mahapurushji remained at the new ashrama in Varanasi until 1909 to carry out Swamiji's bidding. During this period of Swami Shivanand's life, there were two aspects of his character that seemed to best define him: his strict and seemingly serious nature, and his soft heart, which was often lost sight of behind his serious character. The following incident describes Swami Shivanand's compassion and service to all, as well as his strict nature. There was a dog at the Advaita Ashrama. It was fed 4 chapatis a day. The financial condition of the ashrama was quite poor, and perhaps some of the residents resented ashrama food being used to feed the dog. One day, someone beat the dog very badly. Swami Shivanand noticed the dog could not move. He lovingly nursed the dog back to health without any assistance. We thus learn to see God in all living beings and realize that every act can be offered as worship to God. Swami Shivanand led an austere life in the new ashrama in Varanasi. He slept on the bare floor in the library room. He would often awake at 2 o'clock in the morning and sit for meditation near the fireplace. One night, he asked Swami Akshayananda to recite a particular verse from the Bhagavad Gita. It goes as follows: He attains peace, into whom desires enter, like water entering the ocean, brimful and still. Swami Shivanand later explained this verse, comparing himself to be the ocean. He said, All the waters of the rivers enter the ocean, but they cannot agitate the ocean. The same is with me. No desires are able to disturb or agitate my mind in the least. I have no desires at all. Mother has given me everything and made me fully content. I have nothing left to achieve. Swami Shivanand suffered from asthma and other ailments. When the other monks asked how he was doing, he would say, I'm all right, but this body is not all right. The Lord has given me this understanding that the soul is different from the body. The body suffers, but I am in bliss. Despite all his ailments and suffering, his mind was completely fixed on God. I conclude with the nectar-like counsel that Swami Shivanand gave to all. He said, My child, Sri Ramakrishna is our all in all. Pray to him wholeheartedly for knowledge and devotion. Through that prayer, you will achieve everything. During this time, with the COVID pandemic increasing, there is much uncertainty of when things will get better. We have to be courageous, read holy books, and pray regularly. God alone can help us get through this, as He is our eternal Father, Mother, and friend. May God save and protect us all. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Nanya-spriha Raghupate Hridaye Asmadiye Satyam Vadami Cha Bhavan Akhilantaratma Bhaktim Prayachya Raghupungava Nidharame Kamadidoshaраhitam Gurumanasam cha Om Shri Sita Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna Hanuman Sameta Shri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namah Shuddha Brahma Parat Pararam Kalatmaka Parameshwara Ram Shuddha Brahma Parat Pararam Kalatmaka Parameshwara Ram Sheshakalpa Sukha Nidrita Ram Brahmadyamara Vyadita Ram Chandaki रघुनाथ कीर्तनम् तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारी परिपूर्णलोचनम् मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् श्री सियावर रामचन्द्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय श्री अम्बे अम्बे मात की जय.
Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. Let us meditate on the radiant form of our Ishta Devata or chosen ideal seated in our hearts. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "He who works for me, who has me for the supreme goal, who is devoted to me and is free from attachment, who bears no hatred towards any creature, he comes to me, O Arjuna." Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरि ओम तत्सत्.
जय श्री गुरु महाराज की
जय.
महामाई की
जय.
स्वामी जी महाराज की
जय.
गंगा मात की
जय.
महावीर स्वामी जी की
जय.
सर्व ऋषि मुनीन की
जय. पार्वती पतये हर हर